Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and get ready because on today's list, we are blowing the doors off the old genre barn and riding our cinematic horses right into the twilight zone of movie categories because we are going to count down the top 10 movies you never knew were actually Westerns. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so 10 movies you didn't know were Westerns. So these are the movies that have disguised themselves as sci-fi, as horror, as standard action films. But if you kind of dig below the surface, kind of peel back that top layer of spaceships, vampires, and laser guns, you are going to find more old school Western gunslinging tropes than a John Ford marathon. So I say, polish up those spurs, holster that popcorn, and saddle up. Let's get to the list. Coming in at number 10, we have a double feature. What better way to start this than with a Western double feature that is done by the same director? We are talking 2001's Ghost of Mars and 1998's Vampires. Now, this is a John Carpenter double feature, and we all know John Carpenter loves horror, but obviously he is a old school Western man at heart because in Ghosts of Mars, you have Ice Cube and Natasha Henstridge basically playing futuristic lawmen in a dusty, red-soaked mining town on Mars, and wouldn't you know it, there are settlers who are possessed by ancient warrior ghosts. I mean, it's literally kind of, for a better way to say it, it's cowboys and Indians style Western. It is sort of like, if you're thinking about Westerns, maybe like Rio Bravo meets The Hills Have Eyes, but in space. And it is definitely a popcorn sci-fi horror with Western roots type of flick. It's not one to take overly serious. You got a lot of great cast in here. You also have Pam Grier, Jason Statham, but at its heart, this is an old mining town Western, and you gotta love it. And the same thing with Vampires. Vampires is 100% a horror Western because you have James Woods, who leads a gang of vampire slayers that look way more like anti-hero outlaws in the Old West, like an Old West posse, than any kind of anything modern. They basically ride into these dusty towns, clean out the bad guys, and move on to the next. There's literally saloons, drinking, bounty hunting, and a whole lot of spitting on the dust. This one is absolutely one of my most favorite and underrated horror movies of all time, and it's disguised itself well because really underneath it all, it is a Western. Now, in honor of the Joe Bob Briggs physical media release coming soon, he is an absolute favorite of mine, I am going to honor him with some pop culture totals on this. So, this double feature, you've got 2 frontier outposts, one red, one dusty. You got 18 vampire dustings, 6 possessed miners, 2 saloon-style brawls, and enough Carpenter guitar riffs to make Sergio Leone nod in approval. Combined, a 4.5 out of 5 undead demon varmints. You gotta love this double feature that is actually a Western. Now, coming in at number 9 is one that I just got introduced to recently, despite it being about 20 years old. And so I push it every chance I can get, and it fits into this category perfectly. I'm talking 2004's Dead Birds. Now, this one is about a group of Civil War deserters who rob a bank. They flee into the countryside and hold up at an abandoned plantation that just so happens to be haunted and cursed and full of sort of other dimensional, hell dimension, flesh ripping creatures. This one, one of my favorite films of Clint Eastwood's is The Outlaw Josie Wales. And this one is sort of like if The Outlaw Josie Wales and Clint Eastwood had to deal with a haunting and otherworldly Lovecraftian monsters. I mean, how cool is that? You get horse riding outlaws, double crosses, haunted house scares that are going to keep you looking over your shoulder and on the edge of your seat the whole time. This is a very high recommend. It is Lovecraft and haunted house horror disguising the Western underneath. And this one has 2 Confederate shootouts, 4 monster attacks, 1 creepy ass scarecrow, and 1 flesh melting curse that you do not want to deal with. It is all taking place on the frontier, and the ending of this one will make you swear off abandoned houses forever. I give this one 4 out of 5 Civil War Lovecraft monsters. You have to check this one out. All right, at number 8 on the list is maybe only this low because this is one that maybe you would expect to see here. I'm talking 1990s Back to the Future Part 3. Of course, you have Marty McFly and Doc Brown who head back to 1885. You've got this thing complete with a steam-powered DeLorean, saloon brawls, quick draws at high noon. I mean, you have the showdown at high noon. It's directly ripped out of a Clint Eastwood Western, but you're also getting train robberies. You've got a love story for Doc. You got Michael J. Fox wearing the world's most ridiculous cowboy getup when he first gets there until he learns how to really sling that iron the right way. And then the next thing you know, he's dressed like Clint Eastwood. This one has so much heart. You gotta love Back to the Future, and I love the fact that they went Western with this one. This one's one you had to know was here. But if you want to round up the pop culture totals on this one, you got 1 train chase, you got 3 bar fights, you got 1 high noon shootout, and 1 time machine with horsepower. I don't know what you can say. This is Back to the Future. 5 out of 5 DeLorean wheel spinners. Back to the Future Part 3 comes in at number 8. Now, at number 7 on this list is one that I almost never hear anyone talk about despite the all-star cast. And this is a really, really good movie that at its roots is 100% a Western. I'm talking 2012's Lawless. This is a Prohibition-era bootlegging story of the real-life Bondurant brothers, I believe is how you say their name. I always get it twisted up. And it has all the makings of a Western based on real-life stories, which kind of adds to the cool factor. It just happens to be set in the backwoods rather than the Badlands, and that's it. You've got Tom Hardy, you've got Shia LaBeouf and Jason Clarke who play these famous bootlegging brothers who run moonshine and fight very corrupt lawmen, and they have to deal with a sadistic big city enforcer who is sent down, who is off the rails, played by Guy Pearce, just absolutely villain of legendary status. He's so crazy in this movie. But this one is all about fighting for territory, for honor, and survival, and protecting your small town from the outsiders. Very much the same as any cowboy story in a Western. This is a very high recommend. The pop culture totals on this one, you got 8 moonshine stills, 10 shotgun blasts, 2 bare knuckle brawls, 1 real life bloody throat slit recreation that actually happened. I've give this one 4 out of 5 Prohibition shootouts. This movie is super underrated and very, very well done. Lawless comes in at number 7. Now, number 6 on this list is another one that maybe doesn't come to your mind when you think Western. And that is 2017's Logan. This is sort of the X-Men's swan song for Wolverine. Well, until Deadpool and Wolverine. But basically, it's a gritty gunslinger frontier tale. That's what it is. You have the old, worn out hero who tries to protect a mysterious young girl from mercenaries while crossing a lawless wasteland that they've got to survive. Hugh Jackman, in this one, he gives a Clint Eastwood level performance. He's tired, he's broken. Very, like, part of that feels like Unforgiven in some ways, but he is still deadly. Make no mistake about it. And the finale in this one, while that might be, some of his characteristics might be from Clint Eastwood's character in Unforgiven, the finale of this one is pure High Plains Drifter meets Shane. And the tone of this one is 100% last ride into the sunset for the old grizzled cowboy hero. And this movie even quotes Shane to drive the point home. This one is 100% an awesome movie, 100% hiding the Western heart underneath. The pop culture totals: 12 claws out kills, 6 limos destroyed, 3 mutant road trips, and 1 Western eulogy, and buckets of antimantium-fueled emotion. I give this one 5 out of 5 last hero rides. Now, coming in at number 5 is another one that I never hear talked about very much. From 2013 is Schwarzenegger's The Last Stand. In this one, Arnold is a sheriff of a sleepy, dusty Arizona border town when a drug cartel boss makes a run for the Mexican border. This one, I referenced Rio Bravo earlier. This one is definitely a little bit like Rio Bravo, with machine guns, muscle cars, and Arnold firing up a shotgun, a Gatling gun, all while delivering one-liners in beautiful Arnold style. This one is very underrated. It gets lost, but I actually think this is a really solid Arnold movie, and he gives off that grizzled lawman gunslinger who is forced to pull out the gun one more time to defend what is right. That comes through in this movie. This is one I always tell people to check out. Give this one a chance. You've got Johnny Knoxville playing your comic relief in this one, but this one is a lot of fun. The pop culture totals on this one: 7 car chases, big car chases, 18 shotgun blasts, 1 big-ass Gatling gun, 3 redneck deputies, and 1 cornfield showdown from hell. I give this one a solid 3.5 Arnold border shootouts. Check out The Last Stand. It's a lot of fun. All right, now this next one is cheating just a little bit, but I had to put it on here. It's not a movie yet. The movie is coming. It's a series, but I'm talking about The Mandalorian. This ain't just a Star Wars story with a helmeted babysitter. This is a Sergio Leone Western with laser blasters. That is 100% what it is. Din Djarin rides into dusty towns. He takes on bounty hunting jobs. He gets double-crossed. He moves on, all while protecting Baby Yoda, if you want to call him that, Grogu. The movie has tons of standoffs, outlaw gangs. It's got a hero with a strict hero's code of honor. And if that sounds familiar, this series is literally the man with no name in Beskar armor. That is it. This show is a spaghetti western. I said it from the very beginning, and they started to lean into it in some cases. Maybe they should have leaned into it a little more, but The Mandalorian 100% has spaghetti western roots. The drive-in totals on this one: 20 bounty hunts, 15 blaster duels, 3 spaceship dogfights, and 1 adorable Grogu sidekick, and more poncho-wearing villains than you can shake a lightsaber at. I give this one 5 out of 5 Beskar spurs. This is one of the best things for the longest time that they had done since the original 3 Star Wars. The Mandalorian, the one that you didn't even know was a Western, checks in at number 4. All right, now this next one I might get a little pushback on because a lot of people are going to say, oh no, this is a neo-noir, it's a this, it's a that. But I'm going to tell you that 2014's John Wick is actually a Western. So yes, on its surface, it is an action revenge flick, but John Wick is an archetypal gunslinger. That's what he is, the lone sort of tested and pushed gunslinger brought back to fight against his will, and he is a man who is wronged, riding into town to settle the score, facing endless hired guns until he is the last man standing. In this, you can say basically the Continental is the saloon, the bounty board is the old Western wanted poster, and John Wick's code of honor is pure Western grit. It has 100% Western foundations. When you think of it like that, and that immediately hit with me. The bounty board, those might as well be wanted posters. The Continental is the safety saloon. They all have this code they live by. John Wick is the retired, grizzled gunslinger who is forced to come back to fight and settle the score because he's been wronged. 100% a Western. The pop culture totals on this one took me a while. We've got 84 headshots alone, 1 puppy revenge scenario, 3 barroom massacres, and 1 coin-based economy, and more black suits than a funeral director's convention. I give this one 5 out of 5 6-shooters. I love the original John Wick, an absolute classic, and it's running around here hiding the fact that it's a Western. Now, I promised you vampires. I gave you a little vampires earlier on. This is the quintessential vampire movie that is actually a Western. I am talking 1987's Near Dark. This is Catherine Bigelow's vampire road movie in a dusty neo-Western shell with fangs. That's what this is. You have a young drifter who falls in with a roaming gang of outlaw vampires. So this one always reminds me of the Wild Bunch in some ways, if the guys in the Wild Bunch were actually vampire bloodsuckers. So it gives off those vibes to me immediately because I'm a big fan of the Wild Bunch. But this also has a big-time bar massacre in it. Bill Paxton checking in for that one. That's worth the price alone. You've got the dusty highways. You got the cowboy hats, the boots, the kind of Western setting, and the best outlaw clan that has been on in a movie really since maybe the Cowboys in Tombstone. But Bill Paxton's scene, I still think, is one of the show stealers. You've even got the old saloon owner. He's got the gun behind the counter and he can't fight off the bad guys. That is worth the price of admission. You've got standoffs in the middle of the street. You've got shootouts. It's all here. Near Dark is 100% a Western running around pretending to be a standard vampire movie. The pop culture totals on this one: 12 neck bites, 2 truck explosions, 1 daylight inferno, and 1 Bill Paxton absolutely chewing scenery like a champ. Gallons of blood to boot. 5 out of 5 vampire spurs. You have to check out Near Dark. And coming in at number 1 on this list, maybe you recognize this for what it is, but if you don't, 1977's Star Wars is 100% a Western at its heart. So you might have thought it was just this space opera, that it was influenced by samurai culture, all this stuff. Maybe it was a little bit, but actually this thing is the Searchers in space. You've got Luke Skywalker's the farm boy who's wanting to go off and called to an adventure. Han Solo is the gunslinger for hire. You've got Mos Eisley is the saloon. The Death Star is the outlaw fortress. And Obi-Wan is that grizzled mentor, retired, wounded, sort of battered and beaten by life gunslinger who rides off into the sunset by the end of the movie, sort of. It's not just a space opera. It literally is the Searchers with lightsabers in space. If you've never picked up on the Western vibes underneath Star Wars, it is all over the place, from the settings to the story to the character archetypes. It is all there. The original Star Wars foundations in Westerns, 100% for sure. The iconic pop culture totals on this: 4 lightsaber duels, 1 planet explosion, 6 cantina weirdos, 1 outlaw smuggler for the ages, and 1 big old death trench run. 5.5 out of 5 lightsaber showdowns. Star Wars, rocking its Western roots, unquestionably one of the best movies ever, and number 1 on our list. So there you have it. 10 movies you didn't realize were actually Westerns in disguise, even if they have vampires, spaceships, or mutant claws. This proves once again that the genre might change its clothes a little bit, but the cowboy Western DNA underneath kind of never dies. And as Joe Bob Briggs would say, those movies and the drive-in will never die, and neither will Westerns. It just swapped a horse for a DeLorean. And that's what I got for you this time. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. If you want to join the channel, I have a special going on right now. You can go to my Patreon link below. Head over, use the discount code that says NEW25, and you get 25% off your membership at my Patreon, where I can do all kinds of uncensored videos, uncensored movie reviews, all that kind of stuff, special members only videos, and of course you're going to get your name in lights right here on every single video, and everything helps out the channel, and y'all, I really do appreciate it so much. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
I know.